So funny thing is that when we do these counterpunches, usually counterpunch starts about 45 minutes into the podcast. So Chuck and I have been riffing, and I can't tell you how many times we go like this. Man, we should have hit record. We should have hit record. Or today, Chuck was like, I'm not. I don't want to talk about that on the internet. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Because we do have some stuff we don't want to talk about, some stuff that we find to be a little bit too controversial. But the thing is that every week we get fed with something that we want to talk about. And the problem is that there's a government shutdown. There's a government shutdown. And I'm going to tell you right now, my prediction is, and from what I understand, is that the Democrats don't want the government to turn back on again until after the No Kings protest, which means no government's not going to come back until October 18th, apparently, because that's the government shutdown date. We're operating cold. That's one of the things we do,
Oh, where
is
did
that
you
we
hear?
just had to go.
I haven't heard that. Like they're setting a deadline on it. Like they're really going for this No Kings protest, and that's where they're going to turn it back on. I thought they were just trying to um, slow down the government progress. Like it's just another stalling tactic in general to keep the economy from flowing, still make it look bad, try to blame the recession that was never happening on Donald Trump. That's what I thought was going on.
So, yeah, well, I definitely think that, there's a benefit to the government shutdown from both sides. From the Republican side, and Trump said this, we talked about this last week. Trump said this, is that he's going to implement cuts because he has that power. But the benefit to the Democrat side is that it's one thing for the Democrats to say, steal your democracy. They're going to steal your democracy. Nobody really knows. When they hear, oh, they're making the rich richer, all you do is you just got to trust them because you don't really know how they make the rich richer. But let me tell you something. When the government shuts down and all of a sudden people aren't getting fed, then they can sit there and they can go, sob story, everybody's sad, the government's terrible, it's terrible. And they don't care that you're starving. They don't care that you get to eat. They want you to feel the squeeze
Mm-hmm.
to understand that they can help you out. When the reality is that they don't want this thing to come back until after the No Kings protest. Why? Because when you have people that are angsty and hungry and not getting fed, and you have a protest scheduled, then all of a sudden what happens? People are going to be really, really, really angry.
I get you. You're talking, so they're going to use this to drive more people out to the protests to, I don't know, protest King Trump or whatever he is.
So ready? We'll go like this. We'll go, shh, don't say anything. But yesterday, Trump came out, and not only did they name Antifa like a terrorist group, but they actually talked about the funding and how taxpayers have been paying for these protests. But we don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about that because here's the deal. This is really a grassroots movement of people that are upset. This grassroots movement of people that are upset that coincidentally have the exact same signs in Philadelphia as they do in Sacramento.
That were made overnight.
They're literally the exact same sign, but it's grassroots. They just because they feel this, like George Carlin said. You don't have to teach them how to do it. They just naturally do it, right? Everybody likes to use all these arguments, but the point is that from what I heard, is that this is the strategy, is to allow the squeeze to happen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What did the World Health Organization say? You'll have nothing and like it.
Okay, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy about it.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
you'll
So
live in your smart home in your 15-minute cities eating bugs, basically.
So 15-minute cities is a whole other thing. Eating bugs, that's one of those talking points they use to scare people. They want you to eat bugs. But here's the truth of the matter, is that this is what they're talking about. This is the proverbial eat bugs. I saw someone on Facebook the other day, someone who you and I both know, and this is a lovely, lovely person, and a member of this person's family is in the military and is a true patriot and a true hero, and unfortunately is not receiving pay. And this person is on Facebook saying, I don't care whether you support him or not, this is ridiculous. We want to get paid, and this is terrible. And Donald Trump is awful for not paying, right? But here's the thing, is that the people on the other side are going like this. That is right.
Mm-hmm.
That is right.
Yeah, well, you bring up everything you're saying is the playbook of the well, I won't even say just the left. I'm going to say the uniparty. There's a term we haven't used in a while because the uniparty is broken to a degree. So it's going back to pre-Obama. So let's talk about millennials for a second. Now millennials did a lot of fun things. They renovated some parts of cities that, like, take Fishtown down in Philadelphia, right? That was, I used to work there, and I remember hopping over hypodermic needles to go get a sandwich from the corner store, whatever. And then they turned it into New Brooklyn, and everything's great and whatever. So, but the real strength and what helped,
Gentrification.
I wasn't going there. That's beside the point.
More tax revenue. But anyway, go.
Whatever. How did that all come about? Branding. If you can sum up the millennial generation in one word, it's branding. They're very good at rebranding something, marketing it a different way, make something that looked negative look like a positive. Politics picked up on that, which is another reason why we were saying earlier Obama was a scandal-free presidency, because everything he did was branded as wonderful, right? So you just change the wording of it, right? So that was like no kings. Well, we keep driving kings into everybody's head. Anybody that's paying attention should know that Donald Trump is not trying to be a king. He's not trying to be Hitler. He's not trying to be any of these things, but they're brand him a certain way, and it's stuck. That's where TDS comes from. So if you brand things and make it look one way, then how could you say that it's bad? When honestly, just the wording is the only thing that's good about it. Like you were saying, like the international whatever for peace, that is really for war. Anything that's worded nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If it says it's for peace, it's for war. You know.
Yeah, right. Or the
If
build
it
back
says
that.
it's to solve hunger, I promise you, if it says it's to solve hunger, they're gonna make sure they have some really hungry people behind them for the photos.
Right. But it's all branding. So if we say it's one way, like to the degree, like, do you think coming into Donald Trump's presidency, most of Biden's presidency, were we or were we not in a recession?
No, I don't think we were in a recession. We were not in a recession.
You fell victim to branding. So we were. So what they did, and I need to look this up, and if I do, I'll post it up on this thing too, but we fell victim to branding on that one. So what happened was we hit
Well, what time period are we talking?
middle of the road Biden presidency.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We were in a recession because inflation is transitory.
Yeah,
It
well,
wasn't a recession. It was inflation. That's transitory. I thought you were talking about during Trump won. No, during Biden. Oh yeah. But that's okay.
yeah,
Inflation's transitory.
what they did. We know recession is a bad word, and we can't have everybody see it, hear it. So we need to get rid of that word somehow. So in order to meet a recession, you have to have certain financial points, government-wise. You have to dip below a certain point. I don't remember what they are because I'm not an economist, right? So every one of those points dip below that, putting us squarely into a recession. So what did Janet Yellen do? Redefine what makes a recession. She changed those points. She moved the bars. So no, it's just transitory. That was the branding. And then they sell their bad thing with a good name, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, because Trump's bad, so it's just transitory."
Yeah, no, yeah, moving the goalposts is something they do all the time. Moving the goalposts is something that they do all the time. I like how, here's a couple things that I've heard over the last couple of years. "Oh, don't worry about inflation. Inflation is transitory." And they look at you
Mhm.
like this. They look at you like this. They go, "Oh, all right." So I'm nodding my head. I'm nodding my
Mhm.
subtle. "Inflation is transitory, right?" And I'm looking at you like I know what inflation and transitory mean. Doesn't make any sense. It makes absolutely no sense, but it sounds really, really smart. And you don't want to sound stupid. So you're like, "Oh yeah, inflation is transitory." And they turn around like, "Ah, we're not in a recession. Settle down, man. Inflation is transitory." Now I sound smart. I have no idea what I'm saying, but I sound smart. And that's what you're talking about by branding. That's why this
Yep.
guy says transitory, this guy said, notice all of a sudden they tweet and it's the same thing right away. Okay. You see these
Mhm.
montage videos where they have like, inflation is transitory. And then over here, this inflation is transitory. And then, a report today says that inflation is transitory.
Yeah,
And then
media
you got
backup is king.
Whoopi Goldberg going, you know what's transitory? Inflation. And they all just stick it in your brain.
Right, but what's the key word there? Transitory. They're selling you on a palatable word that isn't recession. And that's what always happens. Do you pick a topic? Everything, no substance, all branding. which is why everything's sort of like the Build Back Better. What did we build back better? Climate change funding? Did we build back more money for USAID? Because it didn't build anything back better at all. So, which honestly, that's a terrible name anyway. I think maybe like Joe Biden just stuttered it out. We're going to, oh yeah, Build Back Better. That sounds great, Joe. Go with that.
Yeah. We need to make something easy. Build back better. Yeah. And then what did they change it to? Big beautiful.
You know what it is? They probably did name it the Build Back Better plan. So in case he stuttered, you wouldn't notice because it sounds like you're stuttering. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
whatever.